obviously their allegiance is to the president, and that shouldn't be so. We need to have an independent ECZ and have players in there on the commission. Some of them should be from other political parties, maybe the church, maybe CSO and things like that, a composition like that, so that they are representing the Zambian people and not representing the president or the UPND or any ruling party for that matter. Because this problem hasn't just started, but I think we've seen it being taken to the limit in this particular dispensation that we are in. So as we were campaigning, for example, ECZ, you know, one day jumped up and said, oh, no, stop campaigning. We are now going to give you dates in which you can campaign in a certain province. You can only be there for 5 days, and once you are done, you can't go back. So each party was allowed the 5 days. Now, when we were in Western Province, first of all, it started in Northwestern Province, where the cadres, the UPND cadres, started to attack our team, the presidential candidate, and everybody. We moved into Western, and that behavior continued. And when we were in Mongo, clearly our time to be in Western Province, we were at a rally. The police come, and without saying, no, you shouldn't be doing this, the first thing they did was to fire tear gas, you know? And when they came, some of them had the masks, so obviously, you know, the ones who were firing the tear gas, some of them didn't, so the ones that didn't have masks, the police ran away as well because they were affected by the tear gas. And obviously, that rally didn't happen. In Kalabo as well.
But what happened in Mongo?
In Mongo? No, the rally couldn't carry on.
Because what we saw on those viral videos that went around on social media was an altercation between the members of the Tonse Alliance and the police, and we saw members of the Tonse Alliance throw stones or push the police. That's how the police decided to...
no, we were on the stage. We were on the stage, and the crowd was just there. So clearly, the first thing that we saw was the tear gas. They came to tear gas us. The throwing of the stones, if anybody threw stones, we didn't see that. So that is what went down. And of course, the rally didn't happen. And that was how we ended that tour, because it actually started that same morning. We went to visit the Litunga, and the police came en masse and blocked us, and they started searching each car, so the police were like provoking us, but we didn't fight back. They checked each and every car, and then we left. And then we went to the rally.
Don't you think it's understandably so, Madam President, because at the time that you were entering Western Province, when your team passed through Luampa, there was some... We were stoned. There was an exchange of stones between your team.
We were stoned.
And the UPND.
It's not like we got there and started stoning people. That doesn't make sense. Everywhere else, we have been campaigning peacefully. Everywhere where you have seen violence, it is the UPND who have been attacking us. So what are people expected to do?
But also, what was so disturbing for people to see was that one of your members from the campaign team had to go back in the vehicle and removed an AK-47.
I don't know about that. I personally didn't see it.
Those are the videos, you know.
I personally did not see that.
And so when the police decided to search you, don't you think they've got justifiable cause why they're searching your motor vehicles?
Well, they searched us. So let's leave it at that. They searched our vehicles, they didn't find anything. So I don't know where that AK-47 disappeared to, right? So they searched each and every vehicle, they didn't find anything, so we left. Yeah.
Western Province was a bit of a challenge for you to campaign, but your calendar, according to the Electoral Commission of Zambia schedule, you were supposed to campaign in Southern Province.
Southern. From there, our plan was to go through Senanga. We were told that there was a heavy presence of police there. Then we were supposed to go to Sesheke and into Livingston, using that route. But we didn't go there.
Well, help us understand this tonight, Madam President. The ECZ gives you 5 days to campaign in each province. I'm meant to believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that when you enter the area, you were supposed to provide information with regards to which roads you're going to use and where you'll be for purposes of the police to offer security to you. Am I wrong or right?
You let them know that you are in the area, and of course the activities are campaigning, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you've been given a go-ahead to campaign in that province. The police are notified. Yes, they were notified that we are in this province and we are doing the we are doing the campaigns, and we give them a copy of our itinerary.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Why then did it seem for you as Tonse Alliance, because I think I remember very vividly the areas like Lusaka here, where you had gone in an area that you didn't indicate that you're going to go to. Even on the Copper Belt, you had issues with UE because you went in an area that you didn't indicate that you're going to go to. You are the ones that are providing this itinerary to the police in terms of the roads and in terms of the areas you're going to.
Okay, so one of the things I need to talk about where I was. I didn't go to the Copper Belt. I wasn't part of that. So I may not even be aware of what you are talking about, so I can't answer on something that I was not part of. I went to Kasama, and then my team went to Northwestern and Western. So you can talk about those.
Also, would you confirm, Madam President, that the police were present at those respective rallies to provide security for you?
I've seen, I did attend the rally in Kasama and Kafue and Lusaka, and I can't really say, you would see the police but not at the rally. Yes.
But ideally, they were within proximity to ensure that they...
You would see them somewhere, but not at the rally, because we normally have our own security team. Yeah.
The reason for why I asked that question is because your team tried to paint a picture that every time the police came in view of where you were, the picture that you painted was that they were coming to intimidate you as opposed to provide security. Maybe
not so much to intimidate us as to intimidate the people. Because when you look at Lusaka now and you see soldiers everywhere, what do you think goes in the minds of the Zambian people? What do you think they are thinking? They are not even seeing the police, they are seeing the soldiers. Who are you intimidating? You are intimidating the Zambian people. We've never seen what we are seeing now. We've never seen this. Soldiers going into the polling booths, soldiers everywhere. What are people supposed to do? Do you think they'll feel safe? Do you think they'll feel secure? You are not even sending the ordinary soldiers, you are sending the so-called commandos. Why? Why would you unleash that on your own people? Is it normal?
They're protecting their people from you.
Really? From who?
You are connected to militia. That's what the status means.
Oh, Lord have mercy. When you look at somebody like Bishop Trevor Mwamba, do you really think that man can even hold a gun? Why are we painting a story of a story to cover up something, and people are believing that story. What militia? You know, this where Diamond TV is, it's a big yard. It's a very big yard by any standard. This could be in Kavalonga. Now, picture yourself, you are in Kavalonga and this is just a house. Do you really think a normal person would keep a militia at a house in Kavalonga with children there? How possible is that? If I had a militia, believe me, I would put them on some farm somewhere out there. You know? So this story for me, I don't know why anyone in their right mind would buy it. What militia? You talk about an exchange of fire. Why are we not allowing some independent ballistics people to go and look and see if there was an exchange of fire? Why are we only listening to one side of the story? You've killed someone. In fact, I would like to take this opportunity. I've been meaning to write about this. You know, we've been talking about Wakatotwe Mufwaya because he's a former minister. What about the driver? I mean, the bodyguard, Wabanda. No one is talking about him. His body, nobody has talked about him. No one is saying what has happened to him. No one is showing us proof of life. We are all just quiet. I think we need to demand to see proof of life for Mr. Banda, the bodyguard, or let them come out and say, oh, he also died. You see what I mean? So that the family can also be, they can also know what has happened to that man. It's not right.
Madam President, are you here dispelling what the state is saying? You're saying the state is lying.
I think that I should leave that into the hands of Zambians and whosoever to judge. What happened is we had a presser that afternoon on the 14th, and at that presser there was myself, there was State Council Sakwiba Skota, Honorable George Tsanga, Honorable Katotwe Mufwaya, and Bishop Trevor Mwamba. When we were leaving, the three of them, Honorable George Tsanga, Bishop Mwamba, and Honorable Katotwe Mufwaya, got into one car, and the rest of us got into another car. We were going to meet the SADC observer mission. So we were supposed to go in convoy, but we lost them. So they went, and they were joined at Intercontinental by President Mundubile and Makebi Zulu. So they had that meeting because they were concerned about what was happening, especially about the fact that the counting had been, from there, they went to Honorable Brian Mundubile's house, President Mundubile's house, where his children and his wife were. And obviously, they, you know, when you reach that level of a president who reaches that level of gravitas, you have people to guard you. You know, it's normal. Every person who is at that level, they will have someone to guard you. Even HH used to have guards, and you don't just pick a security guard that this is my guard. You pick somebody who is trained, all right? So when they went there, so the rest of us didn't join them. So I could have been there as well, but I wasn't. So when these people came in, the president, his wife, and Wamutoto, they ran into the bedroom. And those people came into the bedroom and shot at them. Now, what I was saying is that if you and I are having a gunfight, I will be shooting at you in this direction. You will be shooting at me in this direction. So if you miss me, clearly there will be evidence on the back wall or whatever. You know, you can clearly see that. So what are we saying? We are saying, why are we not getting an independent ballistics group of people to do that. It's like an audit to see what happened, because people can reconstruct what happened. You see what I'm saying? So why are we listening to one story? Firstly, don't forget that the government denied this whole thing. There are plenty of videos. You've seen Tavo Kawana there saying, no, we don't have this person, this didn't happen. And then the PS, that gentleman saying, oh, this is laughable, etc., etc. They completely denied it. That was on a Friday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 days later, the story is changing until they eventually agree that they shot him, that they killed him. They've known that he's been dead for 5 days. 5 days, you've sat on this information and this knowledge, and you haven't acknowledged it. You haven't told, and the only reason why they even decided to come out with that story is because the wife was now going to file for habeas corpus, meaning you have to produce this person through the courts. And that's the only time they agreed. So why would you believe people who are covering up? You know they are covering up this story. Why would you believe them?
I'm trying to make sense out of everything. Why would the state then accuse you, the opposition, of having committed this grave, crime of linking yourselves to the militia? If there's no militia at all.
I think that is a very straightforward issue with me. If I'm trying to cover up the murder of a person, what should I do if I'm the state? It's to come up with a story that will sell to people who will be simple enough to believe it. So put this story on them so that they will look bad in the eyes of the public. Honestly and seriously, why on earth? Firstly, they say that they've been following up these people for a number of years, something like 3 years. They've known about this militia for 3 years. And then the day after the elections, that's when you decide to strike? Does that make sense? So a lot of things are not making sense. A lot of the things that are happening are not making sense. Do you see what I mean? How on earth you've known about this militia, which you've been following up? They should even have left that story out of we've been following them for 3 years. And then suddenly you say, following a tip-off from the public. But these are people you've been following for 3 years. How come now you are waiting for a tip-off from the public? Does that make sense? The answer is no. You know, we are not children. Well, Zambians should not be children. They should definitely not be hoodwinked. Somebody is trying to cover up that murder of Mutoto Kafwaya, because that's a murder.
Why?
Who in their right minds would keep a militia with his children there? Who?
They say that's how sophisticated you are.
Anyway, yeah.
What would you attribute to as reason for why you failed to win the elections?
I wouldn't say we failed to win the elections. If you were following the results very, very carefully, I'm an auditor, so I follow trends. Trends are very important. Like numbers, they don't lie. When they started to announce the results, firstly, you know that there was a very low voter turnout in Southern Province and in Western Province. Even if, because of that low voter turnout, the numbers that were shared later on.
This is based of which data?
I'm sure you were seeing the videos even from Southern Province where they were bemoaning the fact that they only got about a third of what they expected. So when they started to make the announcements of the results, Brian was leading, which is obviously not an indication in of itself that he won the election. But one of the things you need to notice if you go back to those numbers is the performance of the others. Forget Hichilema and Brian, and look at the performance of the others. They were getting 1, 0, 2, 4, like that. And then the results, the counting and the announcements were suspended for a period of time. When the results started happening, the figures were suspiciously different. The trends were different. Suddenly, even these ones who were only getting 0, 1, 4, started getting larger numbers. I'm talking about trends. That's just one of the issues. The other issue that we are concerned about is the suspension itself. It's not legal. It shouldn't have happened. The observers, even the international observers, they did put pressure on the government to start, not to discontinue what they were doing, which eventually they did. But by then, there was too much time that had elapsed. And during that time, the soldiers went into certain polling stations, got people to come out, including the observers, including those people that were counting. They literally got everyone out, and in certain cases, they took their boxes. So why would I, if I were Brian Mondubile, why would I accept those results when I don't know what you were doing during that period of time? Why were the soldiers engaged at all? Not even the police, but the soldiers engaged in a civil something.
You don't think it was justified that there was theft? There was theft of papers. There was violence at some of the police stations.
Okay, how many were there? So why don't you isolate the some and leave the rest of the country where there was no violence, and most of the booths didn't have violence at all? You don't do something like that, something so drastic, especially when you know the tension that we are now faced with. There's a lot of suspicion, there's a lot of mistrust. I can't prove my figures, you can't prove your figures. Do you see what I'm saying? When we got our independence, the whole point of getting our independence was that one man, one vote. There's no person who likes a leadership to be imposed on them. If I vote for this one, I want this one. Don't give me somebody that I don't want. The other thing that tells us there's a problem, I don't know if you voted, but when you went to vote, you were given 4 strips, okay? Presidential, MP, mayor, councillor, all right? Mayor or council chairperson. So you had 4 strips. And you can't go away with these. Do you get the point? I go and I vote in the presidential. Then I vote in the MP, and then this one and that one. Then when I go out, I don't have any of those strips with me. Now, why is it that when you add the presidential or the whole presidential vote, there are much more than the MP vote and these other votes? Do you get the point? So let's say that at this particular constituency, the MPs combined got 20,000, but the presidents combined got 30,000, sometimes 50,000. There is a big differential between these. So you can actually sit down and work out number of MP votes, number of presidential votes. You are going to see a big differential between that. Now, let's say that you can explain these by saying...
People aren't interested in voting for the president.
Sorry? Yeah, people are interested in...
No. I'm saying maybe the explanation that...
people were only interested in...
But what about the...
Yeah, but
what about the other strips?
Yes. Where are those strips? If you say, okay, we've got for MP, forget about these other two for now. MPs, the difference is 5,000.
Yeah.
Why don't you show us the spoiled votes for the MPs? Do you see what I mean? To
tally with the presidential.
But they are not, okay? So hence, we've got certain information that we are filing, trying to file in because the courts are closed. And to take this to court and say, guys, can we do an audit? So, as the opposition, we are saying there's something wrong with these elections and we want to petition in accordance with the Constitution.
There seems to be so much problems within the Tonse Alliance.
I just wanted to finish my thought.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I was saying that all we want to do is to have an opportunity to put forward our petition and say, can we do this? So that the best way to sort out an election that is contentious, okay, is to allow a court process, because then that will legitimize what the UPND are saying. Do you see what I mean? The best way, if the court says, no, we've gone through this and throw our case out, then we'll say, okay, that's fine, but at least we've gone through the process because of justice. But then if you go and you close the courts, what are you saying? Why are you even closed? Firstly, why did you suspend the counting of the votes? Why did you suspend the announcement of the votes? Why has, for example, is it Kanyama? Why is it up to today?
Mandevo.
Mandevo, sorry, yeah, thanks. Mandevo, why have we not made the announcement? Why are we not allowing this petition to go through? It's the best way to resolve issues. You see what I mean? It's not like we are fighting. No, we are not fighting. Yeah, we're not fighting. We are just saying, give us an opportunity to be heard, you be heard, and let these hopefully independent judges judge. Then you go and close the courts. Why?
In your heart of hearts, do you think you won these elections?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But can I prove it? No. That's why we want to go to court.
You want to prove to court that you won the elections?
Yes, absolutely.
There seems to be challenges within the Tonse Alliance. We're seeing that the special purpose vehicle that you use, the NRPUP, has conceded defeat. In fact, they've announced withdrawing.
Both Resolute and NRPUP.
They've announced also withdrawal from the Tonse Alliance. Does this provide any complications with regards to your petition, but also with regards to the standing?
Not with the petition, it doesn't. Firstly, you need to understand that our Constitution allows even you. Did you vote?
I did.
You did. Even you, as a stakeholder, could have filed in a petition. Even me, as a stakeholder, I could have filed in a petition, as long as I feel aggrieved. And there are many people out there who feel aggrieved. Our Constitution allows anyone. Okay. So it also allows a stakeholder can be the losing candidate, or it can be a voter. Okay. So even if those guys have pulled out, and it doesn't stop the fact that Brian Monduvile can file in a petition. He doesn't have to file it in as NRPUP or Resolute Party. He files it in as an individual. And whosoever can file in as individuals. So that is not, it's not an issue.
Are you disappointed that...
One of the things that I wanted to say, I was going to write a statement, I like writing statements, is that politics really reveals the character of individuals. One of the things I've come to learn is that individuals, one minute they are, no, Brian Monduvile, As soon as they think he has lost, no, do you know what I mean? Character. People are not standing on belief, on what they really believe. And they are looking at this, and this, which is why we have a problem. But I think that this whole thing, it reveals who is who in the zoo. You know, it actually reveals to you that you can't rely on this one. You can't rely, this one can't stand under pressure. This one is a coward. This one will stab your back.
Who is a coward in the Tonse Alliance?
No. Not discussing personalities. Let's just move on to the next question.
So the reason I asked like this is because others have been described as cowards. For example, your Secretary General, Prsdt Kateka, has been described as a treacherous person and as a coward. He's proposing, a government of national unity. Yeah. Do you support his call?
I don't want to discuss individuals. I don't discuss individuals. The only time I discussed an individual was this, our mayor, when they gave us our mayor. So I don't want to discuss individuals. I want to stay on the path of ensuring that justice is done and that the due process is followed.
Are you disappointed?
So I'm not going to discuss.
Are you disappointed that individuals within the Tonse Alliance, with individuals, Ezra Tembo, for example, I don't want you to discuss him as an individual, but Ezra Tembo, the president of NRP, and the Secretary General, in fact, yesterday announced that the withdrawal of the Tonse Alliance, of the NRP from the Tonse Alliance. Are you disappointed that they've done that?
I'll tell you why I'm not disappointed, because there are people who make certain decisions and it's like you lean against something that's going to collapse anyway. So if we are going to lean on something that's going to collapse, better it collapses now so that we know what to do going forward. So in that regard, as Prsdt Kateka, I'm really not interested in working with wishy-washy people who don't stand for anything. This country has suffered enough. Zambians have suffered enough, and we are looking for men and women who are prepared to stand for what is right, who are prepared to do the right thing, regardless of what happens. So I've seen that when something happens, let's say Tonse Alliance does something wrong, and then if I say, no, it's okay, just because it's Tonse Alliance, then I'm doing the nation a disservice. I've seen people who, even when the UPND does something wrong, just because they are UPND, they support that. This thing is going to cost us as a nation a lot. We need to be people who stand on truth and who can call a wrong and a right. You see what I mean? So I shouldn't support something simply because it's Tonse if it is wrong, and people shouldn't support something just because UPND has done it and then those who support UPND support it. That is wrong. We are trying to build a nation. We have to build a nation, which we haven't been doing in a long time.
Speaking about building a nation, Madam President, others are saying that if you proceed with the petition, it will discard the process of reconciliation. Some people are saying that there's so much healing that must be done, especially after this election. This election has left us as a country divided. That's other stakeholders who are saying that. And they're saying President Munduwili mustn't go ahead and petition because it will disturb and distort this reconciliation.
What happens to his people? You think that's healing the people? Is that healing? Really? Isn't healing, you do something wrong to me, then we sit down and we discuss. You get the point? Then I forgive you for the wrong that you have done. That will bring healing. Not that now that we have cheated and done all sorts of things, and then I say, no, you can't get to me because we now need to heal. Let me tell you what we were proposing to do. once we win these elections, is to have a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which Truth and Reconciliation Commission isn't about sweeping things under the carpet. Truth and reconciliation is admitting to me that you actually stabbed me in the back. No way, I stabbed you in the back, you know, I'm really ashamed of myself, I shouldn't have done that. And then I say, oh, okay, but there's an admittance of the wrong that you have done. That's when the healing begins. You can't just say, oh, now that I've done all these wrong things, and then I say, healing the nation. No, come on. We have to be real. Human beings are very complex people. So we need real healing, not superficial healing, not when it just suits you. Yeah.
As we conclude, others are saying that your presidential candidate is a coward. He's run away. The vice presidential candidate has run away. The flock has scattered.
No, the flock is I'm here, okay? And there are others who are here. We haven't scattered. If people are trying to kill you, are you just going to stand there and say, no, initially coward, no, come and shoot me, come on. And he hasn't run away. He has been taken into a safe place. So he's there, all right? He is there. I think that if somebody is trying to assassinate you, I think you'd be a fool to just be out there where you can be assassinated. So you need to be safe. Let him be safe. It doesn't matter what people are saying. I think what is important is let's get to where we are going. Leadership should not be about a person. We believe in team leadership, and there are other leaders who are out here, you know, and we are talking to our president.
As we conclude, if you had a minute with President-elect Hakainde Hichilema, what would you tell him?
I would tell him that, sir, these things you are doing are really unnecessary. I've never heard of a situation where the courts are closed. You know, this is actually